Hey, welcome to another episode of the InNOLEvation Mindset Podcast, powered by the Moran College of Entrepreneurship. Hey, virtually today we have Sherman William Jr., the CEO and founder of Body Water. He's a busy man and he is on the road and he is joining us via his cell phone. So a little bit different quality, not in studio, but we are going to do the best of it, and we are happy to be able to connect with them. Hope you enjoy this episode. All right, Sherman, I really appreciate you coming in today. You're coming in remote from, I think you said, Alabama?
Yes, that's correct.
What are you doing in Alabama?
I am doing my audit. I'm blessed to be in all of the Winn-Dixies in all 5 states, to majority of them in Florida, but I working my way down from Louisiana. So I completed Louisiana, worked my way to Mississippi, completed that. Now I'm in Alabama, finishing up the rest of the Winn-Dixie. So hopefully late tomorrow I'll be finished because they got the east side and the west side. I did Mobile, Alabama yesterday.
Right on. Appreciate you taking the time to do this podcast, talk a little bit about Body Water. So tell us a little bit about your company.
I gotta back up. So for me, I didn't think I was going to do a water that actually is a life-changing experience. So it happened when I was deployed doing Operation Iraqi Freedom. Me and my battle buddies, we all went through all kinds of hell in regards to being able not to focus, lack of energy, our skin just being dry or moist. It was like a combination of a multitude of things, and come to realize it was the water. But it's really doing a firefight that my weapon jammed that I didn't think I'll be here to be speaking here today. So it's truly a blessing because things change when you think this is it. This is your last day on the earth. And an angel said the water that helps, and that stuck with me. And since then, I've been doing research and come to realize that it was the lack of key things that wasn't in my water that I needed to actually raise my level to be cognitive and energetic and be able to survive. So from that experience spurred or forged the concept for Body Aqua out of that experience.
Awesome. So when did you start your company?
Around 2003, right after I came back from the deployment and started doing research and engaging and everything.
Was that the original Iraqi? Is that after they invaded Kuwait, or?
It was the original. Kuwait was like you can say a pass through. It was really no fighting in Kuwait. It was like a neutral zone. Once you went through Kuwait, because we got people stationed in Kuwait and contractors in Kuwait right now. So it's never really been hostile. But after you pass that border into Iraq, then that's when things change.
My father-in-law and mother-in-law were working in Kuwait when Saddam invaded, and they were taken hostage, and they were human shields in Baghdad. Yeah, it was some crazy times. They were in hiding for probably a month and a half, 2 months, and then the Republican Guard, am I remembering that correctly? The Republican Guard, is that the Iraqi troops?
Yep. Because I was in Baghdad also.
And then they took them, and they were human shields in Baghdad. And finally, I forget the senator who was able to basically negotiate to get them out. But yeah, that was crazy times.
Oh yeah, life-changing times. When we wasted a lot of money and treasure out there when we invested a lot in this life for nothing. Yes. So it's just a blessing to be back. I didn't realize how messed up things could be, especially in this world, especially you're in a different country. And yes, you're doing your duty, but you don't know them. And then we having all these people coming in and they're working for us. So the same people we're fighting are the same people we're contracting. It's crazy.
Right. Thank you for your service. So that's interesting, though. Through that experience, you found the importance of hydration, and so tell us about some of your different products that you've developed.
So I have three different products right now that's on the shelf, but like in Winn-Dixie, they only are carrying my fitness beverage line. So when you think of fitness, everyone thinks, oh, I got to lose weight, I need to do all these things, but it's really total fitness, meaning mind and body. So when I couldn't think in Iraq, I had a lack of focus or issues like, why can't I remember this or do that? And come to realize that it's something called choline, and it's a key nutrient you should have in your diet on a daily basis, but you only really have it in the beginning stages, like in the womb with a prenatal. That's the only time you really see it. But that's brain food. Body Aqua Fitness Beverage provides not only natural ingredients to be diabetic and vegan friendly, but also provide brain food to give your mind what it needs because the mind controls the body. So that's why we call it total fitness in regards to our fitness beverage. And then the next one is our cosmetic beverage line. Right now, that's only available online at drinkbodyaqua.com, as well as five locations in Myers, one in Ohio, and the other four in Michigan. Their marketplace, but they're selling the cosmetic beverage in there. And unlike any other drinks, this is the first beverage that produces collagen naturally, working from the inside out. Because as everything, like if you go to a beauty place, everything is external from lotions and creams that's topical. We have testimonials, and unlike any of the other products out there, it's again diabetic and vegan, as well as having vitamins A through Z, along with biotin, zinc, and chromium, with that culmination of things that your body needs from the inside out to have just just enhancing of the skin. You just feel in a certain way. Because I'm 52, and a lady today said that, oh my God, I thought she was like 32 or 36. And I said, oh no, it's the Body Aqua. And I told her that one bottle a day helps keeps the wrinkle and acne away. And she
There you
just
go.
busted out, started laughing.
Has anybody
And then
reported
my last one,
Oh, sorry. On the
go ahead.
sorry to interrupt. Has anybody reported benefits to their joints drinking it? Joint health?
Yes. Blood flow. The beauty of Body Aqua, because it's aqua for the body, it gives you what you're lacking. I got a title on it like fitness and cosmetic, but it really gives your body it's just the missing link. Like in Jurassic Park, to complete it, they had to put the certain genes in to complete the certain dinosaurs. And that's what a Body Aqua is, honestly. And it's just a constant challenge, as you can say, but it's exuberating in regards to being the only veteran that created a product and not reselling someone else's product that
Right.
is actually healthy and a whole category of my own, because that's even worse or harder, you can say, because there's no other categories to compare to, so it puts me in a box sometimes.
How did you even come up here? Let's talk about your third product, and then we'll come back. I'll come back and ask my question.
The third one is water. I was able to trademark the name water, and it's a mineral infused over 72 ionic trace minerals that your body needs and can account for. And the pH is 7.5, not 9.5, because your blood that naturally flows is between 7 and 8. So doing the research, I realized to be more effective, you needed certain minerals that activate the vitamins, because you get plenty of vitamins from your fruits and vegetables, but where are your minerals coming from? And that completes the cycle of health. So a lot of people don't realize they're missing minerals or they're missing certain nutrients, and that's why we have a breakdown, you can call it, in our body. So when you have a blown tire, or even when you start having acne and these different things, your body's giving you signals that you're lacking certain nutrients. But unfortunately, we ignore that and cover it off, or put some cream or ointment, but your body is screaming, no, I need some vitamin A, or I need some zinc, or I need some chromium. So these are the things we don't understand, which I was able to learn over the years.
So this really you became really aware of the need for this when you were in Iraq, and then you come back. Do you have a background in nutrition, or how did you learn all this?
Oh, I only have a background in staying alive. That's it. Because I was a mechanic. It's actually research and passion. I learned a lot over the years, and like they say, when you're really passionate about something, even when people go to business school, the things you learn in school aren't the same of what you actually do out here in the real world. Unfortunately, you got all of these accolades, but it's like night and day. And that's what I found out in regards to the beverages industry. It's really a monopoly, but at the end of the day, they just don't care. And me being a veteran, I want to have the one beverage with integrity, with a purpose, because I think, okay, yes, it's going to hydrate you, but then it's the what else? Because if you hadn't flavor or anything to it, what else am I getting from that?
Right.
And people don't realize even electrolytes, that's a bodily function. So when you replace that function, you're less healthy and your body stops doing its job. Like an eight-cylinder car, instead of using all eight, you're using six. Eventually, you're going to break down. And that's what we're doing because the body's not producing electrolytes, it's not producing collagen anymore for those that put collagen in their coffee and other stuff. And the body is saying, oh, you're getting it from somewhere else. I don't need to do it. They don't realize it's doing more harm than good. And it's going to show on the later end. You're good now, but when you get a little older, that's why we're having issues with young people with cancer and other crap because the body's not doing what it's supposed to do, unfortunately.
Interesting. Entrepreneurship is scary to a bunch of folks, but you've gone through some really scary, legit scary stuff. How did you like decide, okay, I got this idea, there's this problem that I can solve with my water and things like that? Did you grow up with lots of entrepreneurial influences, or what was the inception of, hey, I'm going to go into business?
I actually, not no one in my family is entrepreneur. No, I didn't have any friends. I guess the only thing I can say that was entrepreneurial because I used to DJ. I used to set up and do all these different elaborate events that I would think of, which would generate money, but also keep soldiers safe. Because in Korea, when I was stationed there, they had curfew. Soldiers got in trouble after then. So I would think of different events that would last through the night to curfew so they have a place that they can be and not get in trouble.
Hmm.
So that's what some of those juices pretty much came into play, but it was just passion and really wanting to make this happen because I really believe in it. And like they say, I wasn't even thinking about money or dollars because, for example, I was blessed to get in Whole Foods. I was there for 2 years and I actually lost money the whole time I was there. But the understanding that in order to be in one retail, I have to be in another because they always ask, okay, who was carrying your product? But things change and another door opened because when Whole Foods closed after Amazon acquired them, they pushed a lot of the small businesses out, unfortunately. And I was one of them. But Walmart opened and I was in Walmart for about a year. But unfortunately, horrible timing. It was during COVID. I had a disruption in my supply chain. But before that door closed, I was able to open and get into Winn Dixie. And it's just been building ever since. So now I'm in Winn Dixie and a few Myers locations as well. And it's been growing ever since.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, I was going to ask you what's been some of the challenges, but you just mentioned several of the challenges being a small operator and working with these massive companies and then a pandemic and things like that. Have you had any supply chain issues or how how did you develop that and how has that been?
It's really pretty much getting an understanding and partnership with your suppliers. Like in the beginning, I was just trying to find a co-packer or a manufacturer. And when I first got in Whole Foods, for example, the guy was refusing to make my product. And he said, oh, I'll just give you a refund. I'm like, oh, hell, I don't want no refund. I want my product because
Yeah.
it's not every day that I can get into a major retail without having to use a broker or anyone else. I did it on my own merit and my tenacity. So I actually took leave. I was still active Army. And mind you, this all started, I'm still active. I have not retired. I'm not done. I'm still in like 6 more years in doing this. So I drove down there and he like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? He was upset because he didn't want to do nothing for me. And I said, well, I want to find out what's going on because I don't want my money back. I want my product. And it was like a 7, 8 hour drive because they were somewhere in Virginia and I was in Georgia at the time station. And I just followed my heart. The angel said, just go there. And come to find out that their palletizer had broken down. But before that, he was calling me everything but a child of God. Okay, okay, got it. And then I said, what's the problem? Palletizer broke. I said, I'm a mechanic because they couldn't get a mechanic. Never worked on it before, but I worked on that piece of equipment for at least 18 to 20 hours.
Oh,
But
wow.
I fixed it. I figured it out. It was no manual. It was one of those old German pieces of equipment, and you already know they have to cherry rig a lot of stuff. But I figured it out, and I made it happen, and actually tweaked and PMCS is their whole operating systems that they needed to do, and this helped make my product loaded, and I rolled out and delivered to the first 5 Ophels that accepted my product. But that was a challenge.
What a cool entrepreneurial story. So hopefully they gave you a discount since you fixed their machine. And
I wish.
oh my gosh.
I wish. He said it was, but it didn't show up on the bill.
Oh man. Oh man. Well, that's some tenacity there. I love it.
Yeah.
You're a part of the entrepreneurial veterans program at the Jim Moran Institute, right? When did you do that?
I did that around, I'll say 2017, 2018. It's been a while because I've been to every Veteran Edge conference except for one. I started the EBV process and was in Tallahassee for that prior to me getting out as well. And that just solidified a lot of things that I was into doing because unlike a lot of businesses, you have to home and own your own.
Hmm.
And for me, having a product that's healthy is totally different. So I didn't really fit the norm of like getting a contract or having a brick and mortar that's about location. It was a lot more complicated and challenging for what I'm actually in the realm of because I'm Coke and Pepsi, and you already know they
Right,
monopolize and buy shelf space
right.
and copy. They actually copied my one of my flavors, my watermelon peach, and I like, oh, I need to start protecting in my website. So I started taking down a lot of the future stuff I was going to have out. I took it all down because I have some future waters that I want to put on the market as well.
So in that program, in the veterans program with JMI, what was that like? How long was it? What did you learn? What did you guys focus on? How did it help you?
It was about a week. We had all of the different speakers. You had entrepreneurs. You had a different take on business. You had bankers. There was a little bit of everything, and it just opened your eyes to what you didn't really know. And if this is for you, because a lot of people don't understand that businesses, it can be scary, especially when it's entrepreneur and you don't really know what's going to happen the next day. But
Right.
I know I was excited. For me, failure wasn't an option. Um, there's no quitting me, and I know I'm going to be the one to break the mold because I think of it like this: there's a lot of veterans out here, but there's not one that has really paved the way to really acknowledge and uplift others. Because we got all these nonprofits that's doing great things for veterans, but they're still not being recognized truly with our government and the state as in, okay, this is a veteran owned and created entity, and they're not nationwide. They're local and stuff, but we don't have a nationwide presence that can say that's a veteran-owned nationwide brand, and I want
Interesting.
to be that brand.
That's awesome. How did you hear about the program?
Honestly, word of mouth. I've been talking to, I believe I was this program for out processing, and I always talk to people because I'm an extrovert. And someone mentioned something about EBV, and I reached out, and I got a response, and then they had to weed everybody out. So they gave you a questionnaire, and then they at that time was very rigorous, like a questionnaire. Then you had to talk to another person. Then you had to had another interview, and then you had the study session prior to that after being selected, and then after selection, then you go to the place because prior to everything changing now, they actually paid for everything. If you had to fly from a different state or drive. They did TDY, but now that's changed. Now it's okay, we got the hotel. You have to pay for your own way there now. So I've been here for a while. So I like, wow, I can see how things are changing.
Wow. And you recently went through the Small Business Executive Program, is that right?
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
And was that a good, how was that different? And was it a good refresher or was it new information?
That was both. It was very refreshing because you meet like-minded people that are constantly on the grind, but doing something totally different from you, but yet they still are supportive and they'll give their objective opinion of how you can be better and be honest with you. And that's what you want, especially with your peers. You don't want a yes person, but information and actually having access to some data that I didn't have before was critical. For me, that was very imperative. And of course, marketing and other stuff, they were excellent. They talked about AI a little bit about things. And for me, it's okay, can AI really control and support like your strategies online and stuff? And he said, yes and no, you have to play with it. It all depends. So, because everything's about the algorithm. So I'm
Right.
like, okay. I think it was very, for me, I enjoyed every minute of it. And all the instructors were excellent as well as the classmates.
That's great to hear. As you think about growth, and you already said you want to go nationwide, what's the go-to-market strategy? How are you going to go from Florida and Alabama? And did you say you're in Georgia as well, or no?
Yeah, I'm in a few Winn-Dixies in Georgia.
Okay.
It's really, no, go ahead. You about to ask me
I
something.
was just gonna, so you're multi-state, mostly in the Southeast. What's your plan? How do you go? How do you take it nationwide?
It's all about, honestly, brokers and talking to these buyers. The buyers dictate your future. And unfortunately, some of the buyers, they go through a process and don't plan on selecting anyone. And even though you have something that's totally unique or different, they have a different opinion of things. For example, I love being in Winn-Dixie, and they pushed a lot of the same old out, but they brought in a lot of the same old new, if that makes sense. So it's a new product, but it does the same thing. And they got more shelf space than me. They got more love than me. And yet I have a unique product that's unlike anybody else's, meaning the only veteran created health beverage, period, anywhere on any shelf, as well as being diabetic friendly and vegan while having no sodium, colors, or caffeine. And the question is, people say the sediments in the bottom of a lot of these drinks. And I said, do you shake up an apple? So why should you shake up a drink? That means it's not natural. And as well as having no colors. So no colors, as you know, that they did studies, the red 40, yellow 5,
It's
that
terrible.
actually stays in your system, and
Yeah.
ADHD and all the other stuff. They're realizing these effects of these colors. Just passionate about it and really want to, I guess, get the support because a lot of people go in these places, but it's not on their mind. They're still going to the Cokes and Pepsis, even though it's just bad habits that they're sustaining. And I'm trying to break those habits.
Love it. Love it. So I always like to ask this question at the end of a podcast. If you could go back and tell yourself one thing before you started your company, what would be the one thing that you would tell yourself?
Definitely not to be so trusting. Because
What do you,
because when you're excited in the beginning, you're very trusting, you're gullible. You're like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. And unfortunately, everyone doesn't have your best interests in mind and heart. And for me, this is something I take very personally. And I invested all of my own money into everything I have today. So you can say I haven't got one loan. I've done multiple title loans, even mortgaged my house a couple of times. I've done everything because I believe in a product, and it speaks volume. Those that said, oh, I want to invest and do these other things. And again, I was too trusting, thinking that they was actually going to do all of these things they said. And they actually ended up almost destroying everything I had by taking sales and money for other things. And I didn't realize what happened until it was almost too late.
so
Yeah.
trust but verify.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So people can tell us again how people can find your product. or get your
Well,
product?
we got a lot of shoppers in Florida. So Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, everyone Dixie has Body Aquas in the either aisle 2 or 3 in the enhanced water section. And of course, you can go to drinkbodyaqua.com. And then if you're in Cleveland, Ohio, or in Michigan, I'm in the Myers Marketplace. I'm in 5
Okay.
Myers Marketplace, and that's like the healthy version of Myers, like the Whole Foods, Trader Joe's
Okay.
type frame setup.
Well, Sherman, I really appreciate you taking the time in your busy schedule to come on to the podcast, and safe travels as you're out there hustling and
But yeah,
making your way back over here, and best of luck to going nationwide. That's a lofty and awesome goal. And then finally, thank you for your service.
I appreciate it, and really thanks for taking the time, because it's hard to get your voice heard. And yes, everyone has a story, and people say I have an extraordinary story of why my water makes a difference. But just really getting genuine support, because once you try it, you don't want to have another product because it just tastes that good. And then you say, this can't be this healthy and taste this good, but it is.
No, that's awesome. Well, I can't wait to try it. You said that you left me some. I'm going to go track it down.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can, just let people know they can go to drinkbodyaqua.com if they're not by Winn-Dixie or Myers, and they can start a subscription or just order a couple of cases, and that'll be great too.
Yeah, and we'll put the link in the show description so they can easily click there and get their water.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Hey, travel safe. Thank you.
I will. All right. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.